welcome back. We're here to do the joint connection. Yes, it is a bit late and we have scheduled the other videos. For those of you that haven't seen it, I've put one notification out, and that is for one of the editions. So we've got the masculine, feminine, and karmic out, and we're about to do the joint connection. I have had a fairly hectic day, so you may get a notification for this. I did have a ponytail earlier, but I just threw it up. I could say I woke up like this, but I really didn't. I woke up worse. So I have already pulled the cards. I have selected a ruin cast, and I was really sitting with the energy of this read, and I'm like, both with the energy I have been seeing playing out, especially because you can always energetically at a collective level, hi guys, we can look at things that are coming up in the media. We can look at vibrations, our own inner feelings, potentially situations going on with our friendship groups, and you kind of get this vibe of a collective energy. Now, the one thing I am noticing, Saturn and Pisces is pretty difficult, and I really want to look at when Neptune's going direct, because I'm telling you, there's some funky shit going on. I'm telling you, funky energy. Okay, so let's look at when. Was it the 13th? Jupiter doesn't go direct until the 31st, which, that's going to be an interesting New Year's Eve. Neptune from the 6th, that makes sense. So it moves shadow direct from the 6th, theoretically for 2 weeks, roughly 2 weeks it should be in shadow. But the pressure point of that Pisces energy, both with Saturn at 2 degrees and Neptune at 24 degrees as it moves shadow direct from the 6th all the way to January, really. It's in that direct motion. So what we are getting is a lot of things in that Pisces energy. That can be the pressure points. Everyone's incredibly tired. What you can have coming up, it can link to the 12th house. So it can be to do with Venus. It can be to do with love. It can be to do with money, pressure points in these areas, because Saturn requires us to level up. So it's almost like while it's in retrograde, the pressure's off. While it's moving direct, the pressure's on. Now, we also have the North Node, and I do believe this is linking to our inner masculine as well as linking to divine masculine. Okay, so we can see a lot of things happening with them. Now, I do feel that it is imperative for divine feminines to be very cautious. That is because we do have the North Node in Aries and the South Node in Libra. We also had, and that's why I said we're going to be tired. So if you add pressure points, Saturn and Neptune, subjects to do with pacifiers, subjects to do with mind health, stress levels. 12th house can cause difficulties because we are almost apprehensive and we just don't believe in any new beginnings. And so we're less inclined to jump in the deep end, and we could have self-sabotaging tendencies at the moment because of where things are at. So, for many people spiritually, they could feel like they just want to throw the towel in. It's all too hard. We can go into victim consciousness, especially because it's the higher heart chakra, because currently we have Mercury retrograde in that heavy tense energy of Capricorn. It is ingressing back into Sagittarius. So we're going to get to, again, it's Jupiter. It's almost like we're trying to liberate ourselves. We're trying to move forward, but some old situations are coming up. Pluto also sitting in the house of Capricorn. I firmly believe we are seeing subjects to do with Pluto ingressing into Aquarius already. So that can be technology. It can be to do with UFOs. And, am I saying they exist? I'm saying you're going to see subjects on the media. I'm a very open-minded person as well. So it's not about me. It's about energy. It can be hacking. It can be, group peoples, banking, how things affect the group and the family, especially because the next moon is going to be in the house of Cancer. Now, this reading and how it's coming through is pretty interesting. And it to me, it's almost saying we're taking the mask off, but we have to be very cautious with how we are observing our own personal paths but also how we are observing a reality of a situation. Neptune can kind of distort things. It is in its shadow direct motion, but when we're tired, it's a little bit like going to the supermarket hungry. You're actually going, science has proven you are more inclined to buy treats or what you're feeling a craving for at that point in time, and you're more inclined to actually buy more. Now, from the 27th, we are having the full moon in Cancer. It's going to be at 4 degrees, and it is the shadow sign of Capricorn. We also, by this stage, will have the sun by the 22nd in the house of Capricorn. So all these old subjects relating to Pluto, they're going to come back up again. And a lot of us can see the cracks, and it'll be a common situation. So each zodiac will have it in a particular area that can be very problematic. I would say, like I said, spiritually, I would be very cautious. I would be choosing how much I'm giving to a situation. I would be assessing the risk. I will be looking at what the pros and cons of a circumstance are. And, can you heal and move beyond a situation? 100%. But I do think if we are moving into these connections and into any connection, point blank zero, we should be going into it with realism. It's okay. Can I see something's changed? Is there a red flag? How do I proceed? Can I proceed with caution? So at the moment in the joint connection, there is something to do with the mask coming off. And so I think it's a reality check. I think it's like, and this can, pardon me, within our intellect, within our emotions, it's us also having power. It's us actually looking at the connection and saying, okay, is there something I'm not seeing or something spiritually I'm not wanting to see? And sometimes it can be something very simple, and therefore we can actually find a simple way to actually address the circumstance. Other times it can be, because, do we have to look at the yin and yang? Yes, but not the whole time. What do I mean by that? If we're always the one doing the healing, we're going to get resentful. If you have healed and nothing's moving, could it simply be that universe is protecting you at the moment and they're saying, look, you're in alignment, be okay to have some quiet, be happy with the bliss. There was somebody that said to me, a client that said to me, it's really sad, some things have gone down for them. Christmas was coming, and it's like, this is my state during Christmas. This is really sad. And it's that we get these society cliches of what things should look like. And, if you're alone, is that a bad thing? And it's to do with the grace. It's to do with the beauty and the things that we actually have. And it's being grateful for those things, whatever those things are. Is it a roof? Is it food? Is it great friends and great networks? Is it hopes and dreams and aspirations? It doesn't mean to say that we can't be upset at a circumstance that hasn't turned out according to planets, and not to say it's not going to either. But universe is asking us to take the mask off, and maybe it's honoring the fact that we're feeling disillusioned by something, and that's okay too. It's okay to say, hey, I feel very frustrated by this. Sometimes it can be us pacifying ourselves and maybe not saying anything to a person. And I would say it's, picking our battles is essential at this point, especially because everyone's really tired. But I do think there's something to do with the mask coming off. This can be to do with uncovering emotions in the joint connection. And I do feel it's happening on both sides. I don't feel it's a one-sided circumstance. I feel that as much as you are going to need to give, this individual is going to need to give as well. And so it's almost a requirement. Don't overcompensate for the other energy. I saw this video the other day. It was a TikTok. It was only a brief 2-second video. I think it was also posted on Instagram. And it was Oprah Winfrey actually saying, why can we not accept what a person shows us? And sometimes it's because if, on our side of the fence, if it was to do with us, that would mean we could change something. But when another person has done something, we can't accept at that point what they're showing us. So it's important to read the signs. Now, the funny thing is we do have the Devil card here. The good thing is it's needing to move to the past. So there's something from the past coming back up. It could be a pattern. It could be a circumstance. And it is unfinished business. How you address it, it's going to give you a lot of closure in this instance to tweak it and change it, because we've come to it with information, because it is the Capricorn energy. Like I said, we've got Pluto in Capricorn. with that intensity. 22nd, we have the sun, which is the direction, the identity, a new chapter in that area we're going to be having. This also can be, say, we could have new presidents and prime ministers, new ways, new members coming into the circumstance, new rules coming into society. We also spiritually are looking at the devil in the detail. We're looking at the circumstance in the past. And I also feel, especially because of the ruin cast that's come out, that something intuitively we're picking is going to come up quite quickly. The Eye of Horus came up for me psychically, which I went back down the rabbit hole. And, you know, some of us can look at that as like, you know, the war energy. But again, it's about the protection. It's about ways that after you have tower moments, you have circumstances happen that you spiritually can protect yourself. And with your sixth senses, you're able to do such. And I think it's quite important we do this at this point in time. So these old circumstances, I do think are going to come in very quickly. It can feel unfinished business. And it doesn't just have to be linking to TF. It can be in other areas that impacted the TF journey as well. Okay. I feel there is emotions and there is a subject to do with sacrifice. Now, it's funny, you know, I'm looking at this individual and I read cards intuitively. Whatever my guides are showing me, whatever vibrations they're giving me, I go with that. With this, I'm hearing the first term I'm hearing is pearls of wisdom. Now, it's funny because it's actually come in reverse, and this is in the heart of the situation. Again, I do feel there is a difference, not a difference. There is an imbalance on one side of the fence. Now, that is in each individual. I feel there is an imbalance in the feminine energy in nurturing, relaxing, you know, being in receivership mode. There could be a lot of people needing on divine feminine at this point, and I also feel divine masculine has had a lot of that as well. A lot of neediness, the need to recover, the need to go into hermit mode. And so there can be apprehension in going into this connection at this point. I do feel there's fluid emotion. There's a very deep emotion in the joint connection, but I also feel due to previous circumstances, this also could to do with the circumstance with your TF, that you're apprehensive moving into it. But I think there's a mirroring going on here. I think there could be a protective motion. There also could be a temporary sacrifice for a long-term gain. But I do think what you both are moving into is an element of healing, and this is the Chiron energy. And notice how we have the higher heart chakra here. Now, like I mentioned, in the transits, we have Chiron, the wounded healer, in retrograde at the moment. It's moving direct. Mercury also acts very similar. It is the higher heart chakra. I'm trying to get centered there, and I'm to the left, to the left. So Mercury is the higher heart chakra. So a lot of you can have a clearing of this energy coming up, and I'm seeing the yellow and the orange. There could be anger. Whatever this is, it's cleansing. So it could be a good time for a detox and a cleanse, although you may find that there is overindulgence. This could be emotional eating and things to that subject coming up. Also, spicy foods are a possibility. Now, also what I'm seeing is the lotus flower and the hand. So I am seeing that there is almost like whatever is being removed from us, if there are tower moments, which I'm not really picking that at this stage. I'm picking there is an upgrade that is going on between the joint connection. I'm picking that there is a clearing with the frequency. Your intuitive energy also with your hearing. It's almost like your sixth senses are coming online, but you're going to get synchronistic messages in very weird ways. I was directly seeing dragonflies. This can be a sudden need for a change in direction, having to think on your feet, being honest with yourself with circumstances, but I definitely feel a surprise. The other thing I've been seeing is psychic attacks. I feel some of you have been more aware of them, and you may have used your wisdom to protect yourself, to clear your energy, to use guided meditation as a tool. This could be like home clearings. It could be aura upgrades to protect yourself. Butterflies as well. So I do feel with the butterflies that particularly can be also due to humidity and weather patterns. We are seeing a lot more insects. Saturn and Pisces can be to do with insects and can be older insects as well. Insects lasting a lot longer. Neptune also we can find energy of the fairy realm, and this can be in movies, for instance Avatar. Separately we can get again a lot of species coming through: fish, butterflies, insects. Now the butterflies do signify a physical transformation that both divine feminine and divine masculine are going through, and it can feel a little bit like growing pains, but there is a physical transformation. I also feel the intuition of both parties here is something has to give, and that a spiritual change is required in this instance. I do feel pardon me, I do feel divine masculine here in the mix is really needing to get grounded. I do feel things potentially have been on their mind that have been of a foundation level. Some may be thinking about home and family. This can be accommodation as well, change in residence. I definitely feel ideas sprouting to mind. I also feel spiritual protection is required. It's almost like they know that they have to protect themselves. There is a lot of the heart chakra clearing of this individual. There is a bit of brutish energy, so potentially they may be a little bit snappy, especially for those of you that are in communication. There can be a bit of snappiness. There can be for some, a very traditional energy coming up. Probably a bit dark age style, but it does feel quite traditional. Now, I do get that there can be an element of jealousy. Now, before we go any further, we're going to read the ruin cast because we're really linking to the crowning energy, which was a mask coming off in this circumstance, and the element of transparency and truth shone. Mystery, change, and unpredictable events, intimate encounters, unfolding, fate, karma, feminine mystery, initiator of events, and incubation. Again, I was seeing transformations with insects and birds coming up quite a bit. Irritational fears, vulnerability, ill fortune, faults and mistakes exposed. Now, I feel something to do with the mask. This can be something being exposed in the instant. This can also be that divine feminine is intuitively tuning into a physical shift coming. And I do feel you can be really quite susceptible to this vibration. Some of you can feel as though, and I feel this is January energy. I'm going to be perfectly honest, but some of you are already preparing for the January energy, so you're well and truly ready. Interesting. There's a bit of a challenge happening here. This challenge can be all the way down to, if this was divinely guided and this was a spiritual path, where is the analogy I use always is Omar Sharif. Where's Omar Sharif? Where is this at? I do feel the ascension process maybe has slightly, in its retrograde, brought a bit of malefic energy out. I do feel at a positive level, this is evolving and shifting, but I do potentially feel due to the delay, due to behavioral patterns, there can be this reluctance with the divine feminine. Some of you could be aware that this individual is healing and recovering. They also could be extremely tired. But I do feel the way you're proceeding is directly with caution. We've got the Fool card here. I'm not getting it that it's a bad thing. I just keep hearing the term proceed with caution, because I feel if you open your eyes and I don't think it's that divine feminine is necessarily hiding anything. If you do have something on your chest and you are in direct communication with this person, feel free to articulate. However, I feel it's more you're observing a circumstance in a different way. Also, I just keep getting, proceeding with caution. There is a test here. You're going to get this test. Can the test be for divine feminine? It can be, but not in the way you're thinking. I feel it's, if you spiritually are woke, and the waking is happening all the way through, can you use the tools you have gained over your lifetime to apply it to this situation in a healthy, effective manner? I think if you can do that, it's actually going to benefit you far more. However, some of you could just be feeling really down and out and wanting to tap out. And it's, what you're wanting to do is spiritually come to a space where you can be open. You're not running from a person, place, or thing. You're walking into circumstances, you're addressing them. And I feel if you can do that, you're actually passing and you're further ahead than you think. I do think this person also needs to proceed with caution. This can be because potentially past tense energy relating to this Capricorn energy might have really hit divine feminine and masculine quite heavily. And so now it's almost that recovery mode. And I do think we're actually going to have the forward momentum. But both energies here are really proceeding with caution. For some reason, there is a judgment here over divine masculine's head that they know well and truly might not go in their favor. So there could be worries that a decision that maybe is outside of their control, that really can be divine feminine's choice to accept, tackle, forgive, whatever that be. That judgment energy, so to speak, they do feel that power is away from them, especially if you are reacting to the circumstance differently. They're also making reference to a point that there was an individual they should have kept as a friend. For them, insects and animals have been coming to them. This can be, I don't know why I'm hearing this, but I think it's making two reference points. It's that, a dog is man's best friend, but it's also the energy of friends maybe that cross them, people that maybe they should have kept in that friend zone. But I definitely see a transformation here. I do feel that their guides are actually forcing them to make choices, not based on other people, but definitely based on their own belief systems. And if people are trying to get into their ears, I also feel it's in one ear, out the other for many, because I do spiritually feel the courage of the heart also with the dog energy coming through in the higher heart chakra. I do get it's like they're defending to the end. They're realizing this feeling that they had for you has been unresolved, but has actually been that they want to have that fierce warrior heart and they want to move into it. At the heart of it, we do have love. So, there's no question here. This person does have feelings for you. This person does think about you, but they do also know that there was a lot that they had to, maybe they were being too fair to karmics. Maybe they were being too fair to circumstances. Also, for some, I do feel they were trying to be healthy by removing themselves from you so that they could do that upgrade and healing, so you weren't kind of involved in plateauing energy, sort of energy going up and down and coming across very flighty, because they didn't want you to misinterpret how they were feeling, because that circumstance wasn't directly about you. It was about past tense situations they were resolving. Yeah, there is this fierce frequency, and I do think with this rebirth of the Mars energy, I do see these individuals really moving towards their goals very fiercely. What they are waiting for is that energy to pick up. Unfortunately, that energy is going to feel more so by the end of the year, and I think we're really going to be hitting the ground running. I do feel they're going into their vault and they're using wisdom. This also can be seeking out counsel from another individual, but I do think this is from somebody that they very, very much trust. This is a wise individual. I do feel the circumstances also in the darkness have shed some light on how to address it and where these blockages were. I do feel there's a truce of some description. There is going to be a blessing. Some of them are having very prophetic dreams. This is almost like, I'm almost getting like, how do I explain? Like visions and images coming through in their dream state. It's almost like they're thinking about the joint connection, thinking about the commitment energy. To a degree, at times they have felt there has been a lot of interference. This has been on divine feminine side. This may have been a false perception. Maybe that divine feminine was going to move on with somebody else. Maybe for some they did. But that they do directly know the reasons why, but there were some insecurities to do with this. That there were influences that were directly impacting them. But there's something in their dream state that's coming through and saying to them, look, this is divinely guided. This is your moment. You need to seize the power. You need to move ahead with this circumstance. This woman, honestly, it's literally almost like the ball's in your court, divine masculine. That's the first message I got. I do feel you guys have been juggling quite a bit. I can see the heart on your sleeve. I also see the heart, sort of in this recovery mode, because it's bright pink. It is bright pink. It is sort of like the jewels that are coming through. You do have a heart of gold. Again, I do feel some of you could be experiencing some throat chakra that's come up unannounced. It sort of feels like Spirit is saying to you that somebody is wanting to say something to you, but you spiritually are picking up on this circumstance. I also feel this juggling energy, divine masculine is going through at the moment as well. But divine feminine is sort of like feeling that some things are up in the air at this point. I'm hearing the term hot potato, and it's bizarre. But it's almost like this person is, this energy, divine feminine's energy right now is feeling, look, if this is going to get harder, I don't know if I want to do that. Can we not have a simple term? Can we not have it? And I think most of that you've already gone through. And I think really, your goals are going to manifest quite fluidly, providing you can stay grounded. I do feel, some of you were directly thinking that this would have already resolved itself. This could have been a hot and heavy energy coming in. There could have been movement with it. You also spiritually and psychically could have tuned into it. Now in the heart of it, it's almost like you're saying to yourself, do I need to use my head? Do I need to use my heart? Can both of these work simultaneously? I always used to get super angry at myself, almost like my heart was lying to me or my head was lying to me. It was getting into ego. And, can you get into a happy medium? 100%. You can still love a person, but you also intellectually can say, okay, what is that comfort zone? What is that middle zone that will make me feel okay with this circumstance? Ooh. I want to pull a clarifier on this divine feminine. I do feel some of you are manifesting. Some of you also are feeling that somebody is doing a bit of juju on you. Some of you, again, we've got the butterflies, we've got the lotus. There is the cat sort of sitting there, the scrying bowl. I feel intuitively, some of you sort of get to the stage of saying, look, I'm not really down for this no more. I'm going to tap out, and those that have been on this journey a very long time, especially if you've had maybe a healthy relationship or two, very separate to DM. A lot of you are going to know that this is energy, it cannot be denied. And so it is to do with healing. Can karmics interfere with the circumstance permanently? Not at all. It is very much permission-based. It is part of the spiritual ascension process. Sometimes we usher these individuals into our life. It teaches us healthy boundaries. I do feel there's a healing here, but divine feminine at the moment can be really feeling quite zapped. And I feel it's quite key that if you do feel somebody's tapping into your energy, to do a clearing in your home, to use your gems, especially moving into the new year fresh, because I do feel there's somebody that's a little bit jealous of you, and they are putting the evil eye out in your direction. It can also make you feel as though you're not seeing things clearly, and it's really zapping your happy vibe. And I think if you can actually clear that and cut that cord with that individual, I do feel that your vibration is going to shift radically. But there is a healing of this, and I do feel some of you actually have more power than you think, but you may not be tapping into it. You do have the union energy coming up. This is to do with, the Phoenix rising. I also feel spiritually, many divine feminines are testing whether this person will use their own power to, without communication, actually move towards you and be open. There is an offering. You will be open to offering something to another individual, but you're less inclined to overly give. I feel you're giving less. And some of you that are giving less, you potentially actually getting more. And it is because of that self-worth energy. It's it's not a bad thing. It doesn't need to be or should ever be a manipulation circumstance. I just feel within this transformation, you have to be very realistic. You got to say to yourself, okay, am I tired? Have I had enough rest? Do I have, it could be like giving all your rent money away, so to speak. It's about being realistic, looking at a circumstance and addressing it. There is a creative energy coming up. I do feel the challenge that is given. Some of you are going to see evidence that this person is actually changing. I'm not feeling, totally changed, but I feel changing. And I do feel this actually is for the better. Some of you also could be speaking to this person. This could be a working situation that's really causing issues for some. This is also could be a karmic situation. I do feel this healing is, whatever this conversation piece, and I do feel communication, whoever's side it's directly coming from. I do feel some of you are going to receive gossip around this time. And again, they keep showing me a wide window. So it's almost like it's activated, it's shifting, it's moving. But I'm seeing between now and February, some of you can hear that this person is absolutely, totally single. I also do feel that the counseling energy, it's not necessarily going to a professional. That's what I'm being shown visually. I feel it's more that it's the element of healing that is going to occur between the both of you. And I think that's what Divine Feminine is moving towards at this point. Divine Masculine also, their guides are coming through to give them a heads up to do with this. They have actually looked at the spiritual connection. They do want to bring justice to you. They do want to be a wiser person, but I feel at the moment Divine Feminine is sort of putting her hands up and saying, you need to do something about this. Be it as a conversation, it could be an awkward conversation. This could be an apology. It could be an attitude shift. I also feel if there's, an importance placed on a certain situation, I do feel this person is aware of it. And it's almost like they're going to try and make it up to you around that circumstance. But I definitely feel the challenge is being taken. Divine Masculine, on the other hand, especially within the joint connection, whatever they're going through, you could feel very paranoid at this instant that you're not seeing the whole picture. I do feel that information is going to come to you. It's there where you will be able to proceed and move ahead. I do feel there's going to be healing, whatever this healing is to do with. Try not to enable. I want to pull a clarifier on that. Whatever you do, do not enable. Yeah, we have another butterfly. There's definitely a transformation happening with the joint connection. I feel you're going to gain perspective like an eagle, and you will be protective like a wolf and intellectual. So you have the tools. Some of you, there could be information and gossip coming through to do with values. This could be the person's money, a job. I definitely see reconciliation here. I definitely see a Divine Masculine showing up. Some may actually find out that this person has gone to a coach or a healer or talked to somebody professional. I'm definitely seeing they can be actually reaching out. This could be to a lawyer. It could be to, what do you call it? It's like filing paperwork. Again, this is not legal advice. But that's what I'm saying. I also feel, this is crazy, there's whales on the actual energy between the union energy. Now, whales actually mate for life, and I do feel that this is a circumstance emotionally that you poured a lot into it, But I do feel intuitively a lot of you are feeling, okay, it's time for you to move that into this connection. I'm filling my cup. I'm being open-minded. My eyes are open, but I do directly need you to invest. I'll have a quick chat to you while I'm packing up. And to give the heads up that the members tomorrow, I will be recording Masculine, Feminine, and Karmic for Volume 4. And so I'll see you then. I've just had a really bad day today. I hope the channel messages have landed and helped. Love to hear your feedback on it. But yeah, just I would say really recover. Be open-minded. Allow universe. You know, when you do think of the divine feminine energy, it's almost like Little Miss Muffet sat on top of it. It's not getting scared, not faking it till you make it. Really sitting there and having the courage to allow that person to move towards you without the temptation to move into the masculine energy for that individual. Sometimes it can be an olive leaf. I just feel at this point there's apprehension. Venus and Scorpio also can cause jealousy, insecurity, protective mode. 2 planets at the moment can, sort of create a little bit of paranoia. That again can be because we're tired. So I want you to nurture yourselves, clear your energies, make sure that you're keeping as organized as possible. Be open that some of these circumstances that are wrapping up karmically can be all the way back from 2008. Now, this can shift quite radically between January. I still see it happening sooner. Separately throughout the year, there is one more ingress, and I feel that will be another wrap. But I definitely see a major wrap happening between now and January 2024. I'll quickly read some statements in the crowd. I'll put the banner up and I'll read some statements. Hi, LET. How you doing, Char? So you've been seeing dragonflies, Cosmic Journey. So have I. Yeah, really, I would say really at the moment it's important to just really nurture ourselves, really getting to a state that we're looking after ourselves. I think when we're well rested, we're able to tackle the emotional challenges of the journey, but we're also able to make more effective decisions and summing things up a lot better. So just really nurture yourselves, be open to it. Definitely. There's going to be a lot of breakups, and there definitely also can be reconciliations on the cards. Oh, good to hear, LET. I'm glad it lands. I'll keep you posted. What other synchronicities have I had? The Eye of Horus, Pegasus. I've been seeing quite a bit. I kept seeing the Art of War, so I do feel divine feminine, and I do believe divine masculine's doing this. It's the Art of War. It's a tactical approach. Try to not go into vengeful energy, whatever you do. I just don't think it's going to bode good for anyone. Be super acutely aware, especially with individuals and energies around you. I think that's really going to protect you. But universe is really saying to be very wise, to have open eyes, to go into things very cautiously. Don't be scared. We have to live. But definitely I do see a physical change and some gossip coming through the grapevine. I hope it lands, and I'll see you soon. Go through and check the masculine, feminine, and karmic. It's open to the public now, and I will see the members tomorrow afternoon for the additional videos. Take care.